Hello everyone, and welcome back to Romance Rewind Stories. Before we dive into today's incredible story, I have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying these heartwarming tales, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest uploads. It's quick, it's free, and it's the best way to support us in bringing you more emotional romance stories. And here's something I'd love to know. Where are you watching from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below. I always enjoy seeing our amazing community from around the world. Oh, and if this story touches your heart, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps us grow and reach more people who love these kinds of tales. Now, let's get into today's story. Shy girl adjusted her shirt in car window, didn't know Billionaire was watching from inside. The black Mercedes S-Class with tinted windows was parked outside the coffee shop, where Willow Chen worked 6 days a week, saving every penny for her mother's medical bills. At 24, she'd become an expert at stretching a dollar, wearing thrift store clothes that she altered herself to look presentable, and maintaining her dignity despite barely making ends meet. This Tuesday morning was no different. Willow had just finished her shift at Java Junction, exhausted from 5 hours of dealing with demanding customers and a broken espresso machine. She was supposed to go straight to her second job at the bookstore across town, but she'd spilled coffee on her white shirt during the morning rush, a disaster since she only owned 3 work-appropriate shirts total. She ducked into the alley beside the coffee shop to assess the damage. The stain was right across her chest, impossible to hide. She tried dabbing at it with water from her bottle, but that only made it worse. Fighting back frustrated tears, Willow noticed her reflection in the tinted window of the Mercedes parked nearby. Perfect, she thought. At least I can use the reflection to see how bad this looks. She turned to face the dark window, using it as a makeshift mirror to adjust her shirt, trying to position her cardigan to hide the worst of the stain. She smoothed down the fabric, checked her hair, which had escaped its ponytail during the busy morning, and practiced the smile she'd need to maintain at the bookstore, despite being mortified by her appearance. What Willow didn't know was that someone was watching from inside the car. Sterling Blackwood, 37-year-old CEO of Blackwood Industries, worth approximately $8 billion, had been sitting in the back seat of his car for the past 20 minutes, hiding from his own life. He was supposed to be at a board meeting downtown, but he'd told his driver to pull over, needing a moment to breathe before facing another day of corporate warfare. He'd chosen this random coffee shop in a neighborhood far from his usual haunts, specifically because no one would recognize him here. He could sit in his car, drink his overpriced latte, and pretend to be a normal person for 15 minutes before returning to his gilded cage. Then this young woman had appeared using his car window as a mirror. Sterling watched, transfixed, as she adjusted her shirt with nervous, precise movements. She was beautiful in an understated way, dark hair pulled back from a heart-shaped face, delicate features, and an expression of such concentrated worry that Sterling felt an unexpected urge to help her somehow. She was clearly stressed about the stain on her shirt, trying various positions to hide it. Sterling noticed the careful way she moved, the practiced smile she tested in the reflection, the deep breath she took before squaring her shoulders as if preparing for battle. There was something achingly vulnerable about watching someone who thought they were alone. Sterling felt like a voyeur, but he couldn't look away. That's when Willow did something that would change both their lives forever. She leaned closer to the window, examining the stain more carefully, and accidentally pressed her hand against the glass for balance. The window was slightly open. Sterling's driver had cracked it for air circulation, and Willow's hand slipped through the gap, causing her to stumble forward with a small gasp of surprise. Sterling reacted instinctively, reaching out to steady the hand that had suddenly appeared through his car window. The moment their skin touched, both of them froze. Willow's eyes went wide with horror as she realized the car wasn't empty. She tried to jerk her hand back, but Sterling held on gently, afraid she'd hurt herself in her panic. I'm so sorry." Willow's voice was mortified, her face flushing deep red. "I didn't know. I thought the car was empty. I was just using the window as a mirror. I'm so sorry." "It's okay," Sterling said, his voice surprisingly calm despite the absurdity of the situation. "You're not hurt, are you?" "No, I'm fine. I'm so sorry. Please let go." Sterling released her hand immediately, and Willow stumbled backward, nearly falling in her haste to put distance between herself and the car. She looked absolutely mortified, her hands clasped against her chest, her eyes downcast. The passenger door opened, and Sterling stepped out, worried she might actually run away before he could make sure she was all right. He was tall, probably 6'2", wearing an expensive suit that made him look like he'd stepped out of a business magazine, which in fact he occasionally did. Willow took one look at him, and her embarrassment visibly deepened. Of course the car belonged to someone wealthy and important. Of course she'd just invaded the privacy of someone who probably thought she was trying to rob him or something equally criminal. "I'm really sorry," she said again, taking another step backward. "I didn't mean to. I was just checking my reflection because I spilled coffee, and I have to go to my other job and—" She stopped herself, realizing she was rambling. "I'm sorry. I'll go now." "Wait." Sterling held up a hand. "You're not in trouble. I'm not upset. I was just concerned you might be hurt." Willow finally met his eyes, and Sterling felt something shift in his chest. Her eyes were a deep brown, filled with embarrassment and exhaustion and something else, a quiet strength that came from dealing with circumstances beyond her control. "I'm fine," she said quietly. "Just mortified. I promise I wasn't trying to. I really thought the car was empty." "I believe you." Sterling glanced at the coffee stain on her shirt. "You said you spilled coffee at work. It's fine. I'll figure it out." "You have another job to get to?" Willow nodded, clearly uncomfortable with this conversation, but too polite to just walk away. "The bookstore across town? I need to leave now or I'll be late." Sterling made a decision that was either brilliant or completely insane. "Let me drive you." "What? No, absolutely not. I couldn't." "You're going to be late if you take the bus, and you're clearly upset about the stain on your shirt. I have—" Sterling gestured to his car. "I have a very nice car with air conditioning and comfortable seats. It's the least I can do after you scared yourself using my window as a mirror. That was my fault, not yours. Regardless, I'd like to help. Please. It would make me feel better about startling you." Willow bit her lip, clearly torn between practicality and her obvious discomfort with accepting help from strangers. Finally, she said, "Why would you want to drive a random person across town? You don't even know me." "No, I don't, but I'd like to. I'm Sterling." He extended his hand. Willow looked at his hand for a moment before shaking it tentatively. "Willow." "Nice to meet you, Willow. Now, will you let me drive you to work? I promise I'm not a serial killer. My driver is right there." He gestured to the front seat where his driver sat patiently. "And you can text someone my license plate number if it makes you feel safer." Despite her obvious nervousness, Willow smiled slightly. "You've really thought this through. I'm very persuasive when I want to be. I bet you are." Willow glanced at her phone, checking the time. If she didn't leave immediately, she'd be late. "Okay, but just to the bookstore. And I'm texting my friend your plate number." "Excellent decision. Safety first." As Willow settled into the back seat of the Mercedes, trying not to touch anything with her coffee-stained shirt, Sterling climbed in beside her. His driver pulled smoothly into traffic, and Willow found herself in the surreal situation of sitting in a luxury car that probably cost more than she'd make in 5 years. "This is insane," she muttered, more to herself than to Sterling. "What is?" "This morning I was worried about a coffee stain, and now I'm in a car that probably has seats worth more than my rent." Sterling smiled. "The seats are heated. Would you like me to turn them on?" "Please don't." I'm already uncomfortable enough. But Willow was smiling when she said it, some of her nervousness fading. Tell me about your bookstore job, Sterling said, genuinely curious. Do you like it? I love it, actually. It's my favorite job. I work at Java Junction in the mornings for the money, but Page & Prose is where I want to be. Willow's face lit up as she talked. It's a small independent bookstore run by this amazing woman named Mrs. Chen, no relation, who lets me recommend books to customers and organize displays. It doesn't pay as well as it should, but it's where I'm happy. Why do you need 2 jobs? Sterling asked, then immediately felt intrusive. Sorry, that's too personal. It's okay. My mother has been sick for the past 2 years. Cancer. She's in remission now, but the medical bills they're a lot. I'm paying them off slowly while also trying to save for community college. I want to finish my degree eventually. Sterling felt something tighten in his chest. Here was this young woman, working herself to exhaustion to care for her mother and still dreaming of education, and she'd been worried about a coffee stain because she couldn't afford to replace a shirt. What were you studying before you had to leave school? English literature. I wanted to be a teacher, specifically high school English. I love books, and I thought maybe I could help kids love them too. But that was before Mom got sick. It's not too late, Sterling said. You're only, 24? Willow looked at him in surprise. How did you know? Lucky guess. My point is, you're young. You have time to go back to school. Maybe, if I can ever save enough money. Willow looked out the window, watching the city pass by. What do you do, Sterling? You're clearly successful given the car and the suit. Sterling hesitated. He usually introduced himself with his full title, Sterling Blackwood, CEO of Blackwood Industries, because people's reactions to his wealth and status told him immediately what they wanted from him. But something about Willow made him want to be just Sterling for a while longer. I run a company, he said vaguely. It's boring mostly, a lot of meetings and paperwork. If it's so boring, why do you do it? The question caught Sterling off guard. No one ever asked him that. They assumed he loved his work or they didn't care enough to question it. Because it's what I'm good at, he said finally, and because it's what's expected of me. My father built the company and I took it over when he retired. It's my responsibility. But do you like it? Sterling thought about this honestly. Sometimes, when I'm solving a problem or making a decision that helps the company grow, I enjoy it. But most of the time, he paused, surprised by his own honesty. Most of the time, I feel like I'm playing a role, being who everyone expects me to be, instead of who I actually am. Willow turned to look at him, her expression thoughtful. Who are you actually? I don't know anymore. I've been playing the role so long, I've forgotten. They sat in companionable silence for a moment. Then Willow said, For what it's worth, you seem nice. Nicer than most wealthy people I've encountered anyway. You could have ignored me when I stuck my hand through your window, but you made sure I wasn't hurt, and you're driving me across town when you probably have important meetings or whatever. That says something about who you actually are. Sterling found himself smiling. Thank you. That might be the kindest thing anyone said to me in months. Then you need better friends. Probably. Sterling's phone buzzed with increasingly urgent texts from his assistant about the board meeting he was missing. He ignored them. We're almost at the bookstore. Would you let me buy you a new shirt to replace the one you stained? Willow's expression immediately shuttered. No, thank you, but no, I don't need charity. It's not charity. It's replacing something that got damaged. I insist. Sterling, a shirt to you probably costs more than I make in a week. I can't accept that, but I appreciate the offer. At least let me give you my number, Sterling said, as the car pulled up in front of Page & Prose, in case you ever need anything. Or if you just want to talk. Willow looked at him for a long moment. clearly trying to figure out his angle. Finally, she pulled out her phone. "Okay, but I'm warning you, I'm terrible at texting. I work too much to keep up with conversations." They exchanged numbers, and Willow gathered her things to leave. As she opened the door, Sterling said, "Willow, yeah? Good luck with the shirt. I hope your boss doesn't give you trouble about it." Mrs. Chen is understanding. "I'll be fine." Willow smiled, and it transformed her entire face. "Thank you for the ride, Sterling. This was really nice. Weird, but nice." "It was my pleasure. And Willow, don't give up on your dream of teaching. The world needs good English teachers who love books." Willow's smile widened. "Maybe someday. Bye, Sterling." "Goodbye, Willow." Sterling watched her enter the bookstore, that coffee-stained shirt and all, walking with her head held high despite her circumstances. Something about her had gotten under his skin, her dignity maybe, or her determination. The way she worked 2 jobs and cared for her mother and still found time to dream about teaching literature to teenagers. "Where to, sir?" his driver asked. Sterling checked his phone. 14 missed calls, 23 emails. His assistant had probably called the National Guard by now. The office, and Marcus, "Sir? Clear my schedule for Saturday, all of it." "May I ask why, sir?" Sterling smiled. "I'm going to a bookstore." That Saturday, Sterling walked into Page and Prose wearing jeans and a simple button-down shirt, the most casual outfit he'd worn in years. He'd deliberated about coming, questioning his motivations, wondering if he was being creepy by showing up at Willow's workplace unannounced. But something about their brief encounter had stayed with him all week. He found himself thinking about her at odd moments, remembering the way she'd smiled when talking about books, the quiet strength in her voice when she talked about her mother. The bookstore was exactly what he'd expected, cozy, cramped, with towers of books creating narrow pathways and the smell of paper and coffee filling the air. A small cafe area occupied one corner, and indie music played softly in the background. Willow was behind the counter helping a customer find a book. She wore a different shirt today, still modest and slightly worn, but clean and neatly pressed. Her hair was down, falling in soft waves around her shoulders, and she was smiling as she enthusiastically recommended a novel to an elderly man. Sterling waited until she finished with the customer before approaching. When she finally looked up and saw him, her eyes widened in surprise. "Sterling, what are you doing here?" "I needed a book," he said, which wasn't technically a lie. He did need a book. He just hadn't realized it until he'd decided to come here. "You came all the way across town for a book?" Page and Prose has excellent reviews. A very passionate employee recommended it highly. Willow's cheeks flushed pink. "I can't believe you actually came. I told you I might. Besides, I thought you could help me find something to read. I haven't read for pleasure in... Honestly, I can't remember the last time I read something that wasn't a business report." "That's tragic," Willow said, coming around the counter with the enthusiasm of a true book lover. "Okay, what do you like? Fiction or non-fiction? Mystery, romance, science fiction, literary fiction? Give me something to work with here." Sterling thought about it. Something real, about people dealing with real problems. Not business or self-help, just something that feels honest. Willow studied him for a moment, then smiled. "I have the perfect thing. Follow me." She led him through the stacks to a section labeled Contemporary Fiction, her fingers trailing along spines until she found what she was looking for. This one. It's about a man who loses his job and has to figure out who he is without his career defining him. It's funny and sad and very honest about masculinity and identity and what actually matters in life. Sterling took the book, reading the back cover. "You really think I'll like this? I think you need to read it. There's a difference." "Fair enough, I'll take it." "Just like that? You're not going to read a few pages first, see if it grabs you?" I trust your recommendation. They walked back to the counter together and Willow rang up his purchase. As she bagged the book, she said quietly, "You didn't have to come all the way here, you know, to check on me or whatever." "I wanted to see you again," Sterling admitted. "Was that too forward?" "A little," but Willow smiled. "Also kind of sweet." "Sterling, you barely know me. Why do you care?" "Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. But I haven't stopped thinking about you all week. About how you work 2 jobs and care for your mother and still dream about teaching. About how you were worried about a coffee stain because you couldn't afford another shirt. But you didn't ask me for money even when I offered. You're remarkable, Willow, and I'd like to get to know you better if you're interested." Willow's blush deepened. "I'm interested. But Sterling, we're from completely different worlds. You have a driver and expensive cars, and I'm guessing a penthouse somewhere. I live in a studio apartment with my mom and work 60 hours a week just to get by. I don't see how this works." "Neither do I," Sterling admitted. "But I'd like to try. No pressure, no expectations. Just maybe coffee sometime, real coffee, not from Java Junction where you work. I don't have a lot of free time. I'll work around your schedule. Willow, I'm asking for a chance. 1 coffee. If you're not interested after that, I'll accept it and move on. But please, give me 1 chance." Willow bit her lip, clearly torn. Finally, she pulled out her phone. "I have Tuesday afternoon off, 3 p.m. There's a cafe near here that makes really good lattes. I'll be there, 3 p.m. on Tuesday." "And Sterling?" Willow looked up at him with serious eyes. "I need you to know I'm not interested in your money. I know how that sounds, like everyone probably says that, but I mean it. If this is going to be anything, it has to be about us as people, not about your bank account. I wouldn't want it any other way." That Tuesday coffee turned into regular weekly meetings. Sterling would show up at the cafe near Page and Prose, and they'd talk for hours about books, about life, about dreams deferred and hopes maintained. Willow slowly opened up about her mother's illness, about the fear of losing her, about the guilt of resenting the financial burden even while loving her mother desperately. Sterling talked about the pressure of running a company he'd never asked to lead, about the loneliness of wealth, about how every relationship in his life felt transactional except this one. 3 months in, Sterling met Willow's mother, a kind woman with her daughter's eyes, who immediately tried to feed him despite Sterling's protests that he'd just eaten. Mrs. Chen was in remission but still weak, and Sterling could see the toll her illness had taken on both of them. After dinner, when Willow walked Sterling to his car, which he now parked 3 blocks away so as not to draw attention, he said, "Your mother's medical bills, how much are they?" Willow stiffened. "Sterling, no. I'm not offering to pay them. I'm just asking, how much?" "About 80,000 still outstanding. Why?" "Because I'd like to help, not as charity, but as someone who cares about you and doesn't want to see you work yourself to death." "Willow, let me help." "I can't accept that much money from you. It's not appropriate." "What if it was a loan? You could pay me back over time, no interest." "A loan of $80,000 with no interest is still a gift, Sterling. I can't accept it." They stood in the glow of a streetlight, at an impasse. Finally, Sterling said, "What if I offered you a job?" "What kind of job?" "My assistant has been begging for help. She's overwhelmed with my schedule, with correspondence, with event planning. She needs someone organized, intelligent, good with people. You fit all those criteria. The salary would be $90,000 a year plus health benefits. You could work remotely part-time to fit around your mother's needs. And it's a real job, Willow. You'd be earning every penny." Willow stared at him. "You're offering me a job making $90,000 a year. Sterling, I have a high school diploma and some community college credits. I'm not qualified for that." "You're more than qualified. You manage 2 jobs, coordinate your mother's medical care, and still find time to curate book displays at Page and Prose. That's exactly the organizational skills my assistant needs. The question is, Would you be interested? Willow was quiet for a long moment. This isn't because you pity me, is it? Because I don't want a job out of pity. It's because you're capable, because my assistant genuinely needs help, and because it would give you financial stability while allowing you to care for your mother. The fact that it also means I'd get to see you more often is just a bonus. I need to think about it. Take all the time you need. 3 days later, Willow called him. I talked to Mrs. Chen at the bookstore. She says I can work weekends only if I need to, and my mom encouraged me to take the job. So, yes, I'll do it. But Sterling, I need to be clear, this doesn't change what's between us. We're still going at the same pace, still getting to know each other. The job is separate from the relationship. Completely separate, Sterling agreed, trying to keep the joy out of his voice. When can you start? 6 months later, Willow sat in Sterling's office, reviewing his calendar for the week. She'd proven to be exactly what his assistant needed: organized, efficient, and able to handle his demanding schedule with grace. She'd already paid off 15,000 of her mother's medical bills with her new salary and was on track to clear the rest within 3 years. More importantly, working together had deepened their relationship. Sterling saw Willow's competence daily, her kindness to his staff, her quick intelligence. Willow saw Sterling's dedication to his work, his fairness as a boss, the way he quietly donated millions to charities while taking no public credit. Sterling, you have the charity gala tonight, Willow said, checking her notes. Your date is... Oh, you didn't arrange a date. No, I didn't. You always bring a date to these things. The gossip columns will have a field day if you show up alone. I was hoping I wouldn't be alone. Sterling stood up, moving around his desk to stand in front of her. Willow, would you come with me tonight? Not as my assistant, but as my date? Willow's eyes widened. Sterling, I don't have anything appropriate to wear to a charity gala. Those events are black tie. I took the liberty of having a stylist send over some options. They're in the conference room. No pressure, but I'd really like you to be there with me, as my girlfriend, officially. Officially? We've been dating for 6 months. We see each other almost every day. You've met my mother, who loves you, by the way. I've met yours. I think it's time we stopped pretending this is casual. Willow stood up, moving closer to him. Sterling Blackwood, are you asking me to be your official girlfriend? I'm asking you to be my everything, Sterling said softly. The woman I wake up thinking about and fall asleep missing. The person who makes me want to be better than I am. Willow, you walked into my life when you accidentally used my car window as a mirror, and you've been the clearest reflection of what actually matters ever since. So yes, I'm asking you to be my girlfriend. Officially. Publicly, completely. Willow smiled, rising on her tiptoes to kiss him softly. Yes, to all of it. But Sterling, I'm still paying you back for those medical bills. Noted. Now, about that gala. I'll look at the dresses, but if any of them cost more than my monthly salary, I'm wearing something from my closet. Deal! That evening, Sterling stood in his penthouse, adjusting his bow tie and waiting for Willow to emerge from the bedroom where she'd been getting ready. When she finally appeared, he forgot how to breathe. She wore a deep blue gown that brought out the warmth in her brown eyes, her hair styled in elegant waves. But more than the dress or the styling, it was her smile, confident, happy, free of the worry that had shadowed her face when they'd first met. You're staring, Willow said, blushing. I'm allowed to stare at my girlfriend. Girlfriend? I'm still getting used to that. Sterling crossed to her, taking her hands in his. Willow, before we go, I need to tell you something. Tonight, people are going to ask questions about who you are, where you came from, how we met. Some of them will be kind. Some won't be. I need you to know. I don't care what anyone thinks or says. You're with me because I love you, not because you're from the right family or have the right connections. You love me, completely, hopelessly. Since probably that first day when you stuck your hand through my car window and looked mortified enough to die." Willow laughed, tears glistening in her eyes. "I love you too. Since that same day, probably, even though I was too proud to admit it. Then let's go show the world that the shy girl who used my car window as a mirror turned out to be exactly what this billionaire needed." At the gala, people did stare. They did whisper. But Sterling kept Willow close, introducing her as his girlfriend with unmistakable pride. And when someone inevitably asked how they'd met, Willow smiled and said, "I accidentally stuck my hand through his car window. It was the best mistake I ever made." Because sometimes the most important moments in life happen by accident. Sometimes using a stranger's car window as a mirror leads to finding the clearest reflection of who you're meant to be. And sometimes the shy girl worried about a coffee stain and the billionaire hiding from his own life find exactly what they need in each other, proving that love doesn't care about bank accounts, social status, or whether you started out using someone's car window as a mirror. All that matters is having the courage to see what's really there. And that's where our story ends today. What did you think? Did Sterling and Willow's story of accidental meetings becoming intentional love touch your heart? Let us know in the comments what your favorite moment was. If you enjoyed this story, we have so many more waiting for you. Check out our playlist for more heartwarming romance tales that will make you believe in love all over again. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and give us a thumbs up. Your support means everything to us. Until next time, keep believing in love, keep believing in second chances, and remember, the best stories are the ones that remind us we all deserve our happily ever after. See you in the next story.